That's right, 1 billion. Billion with the B damage. We're going to be talking about the upgraded forms of Sora in Kingdom Hearts Cloud today. I've probably ended the stream by now. Maybe I'm still streaming, who knows, but if you want to check that out, go for it. We're probably playing around with Sora and Cloud, and then tomorrow, Saturday, 7 p.m., 6 p.m. Eastern, I think we're going to actually be starting a little bit early. 6 p.m. Eastern, come hang out, twitch.tv/house. Link to the channel, as always, in the description below. Always a fun time, but let's talk about Sora in Cloud, the Kingdom Hearts version. Let's go into how strong are they after their upgrades. First of all, let's go over Sora, the boy. What big changes happened to him? The biggest change, actually, in my opinion, is the change to his TMR, the Kingdom Key, his one-handed sword that only he can equip. What got added to it is 50% true dual wield attack, which is absolutely massive. Only Sora can wear it, obviously, but 50% true dual wield from his TMR. If you do have his 7-star form, this does mean that you could, in fact, get 2 of the Kingdom Key if you're so inclined. He's a dual wield unit. You're either going to want to use Kingdom Key plus an elemental weapon, or if you already have that set up right, you're already going to use some sort of unit to imbue Sora, because Sora doesn't have a way to imbue himself. You could just go ahead and do 2 Kingdom Key, and that'll allow you to actually cap out your true dual wield to 200% in that fashion. His super TMR also did get buffed. It is now 70% attack and 50% true dual wield attack. So if you have his super TMR, you can use 1 Kingdom Key and his super TMR, the Heart's Light, and that's going to hit you at the 100% base true dual wield up to the 200% maximum true dual wield there for our boy Sora, and it's going to allow you to wear that elemental weapon or some other weapon that you want in your other hand. Maybe it's got a killer attached to it, something like that. So that actually helps out Sora a bunch, that change alone. The ability to max out that true dual wield, it opens up a lot of materia and equipment selection options for him as a character. You can make him tankier, you can make him have more killers. Maybe you have like a limit burst damage materia on him or something like that, in case you want to use his limit burst, which we'll go over later. Some of the most important aspects to recognize: Sora can only equip swords, great swords, and katanas, which is fine though. Those are 3 of the best weapons that you can put in the game. Spears and fist weapons are kind of getting up there for one-handed weapons. He can't wear those, sadly, right now, due to the fact that he's just a boy, and you know, he hasn't really unlocked the full potential of everything else there. But Sora's Key's Begotten Power from his TMR, don't forget, also gives him MP refresh and 10% resistance to all elements as well. Now let's go over his abilities. The most upgraded versions of his skills, we're not going to go over all of them, like Vortex and Ripple Dive and all that other stuff. Those don't really do anything for him. He still has native dual command, and Combo Plus got changed here. It's now a 5-turn cooldown. I do believe it was like a 6-turn cooldown before. 4-turn, 200% attack buff for him, and then 5 turns of triple command. That's his triple cast, and it's going to increase Ars Arcanum and Strike Red by a 3.0 multiplier for 4 turns as well. Ars Arcanum is important. It's going to double dip on this 3.0 multiplier due to the fact that it is kind of, the damage is broken into multiple parts of the skill. We've seen this before. The first thing is the first 7 hits are a 1.0 multiplier, and then the second hit is a 4.0 multiplier that grows over time up to a 14.0 multiplier. So once you have Combo Plus up, this activated thing is going to bring this from a 15.0 multiplier all the way up to a 21.0 multiplier. So very easy to just spam the skill, Absolute Mirror of Equity chaining frames, get him in there. You're going to use Combo Plus, Ars Arcanum, Ars Arcanum, Ars Arcanum. It's kind of like you're playing normal Kingdom Hearts, to be honest with you. You got your MP ready to go? Ars Arcanum, Ars Arcanum, Ars Arcanum, Ars Arcanum. Just go over and over and over. And that's what Sora's really going to do. The rest of his stuff doesn't really have any sort of interesting skills in his kit, like Hurricane Blast and Blitz and Vortex and Ripple Drive. Like, you're not really going to use those skills. I mean, it's 150% attack buff for himself. That's weaker than Combo Plus. Tornado chaining frames. He's got this defense and spirit break 60%, but a lot of that other stuff, not really all that powerful, not really worth talking about here. His Strike Rate, you can prop that up to a 14.0 multiplier with a defense and spirit break of 60%. This one is AoE if you want to do AoE damage, but sadly it's not any sort of chaining skill at all. It's a chain finishing skill with a less modifier than his Ars Arcanum is on his chaining skill there. His passives though, we're going to sort through these really quick. He's got a lot of passives for HP, attack, defense, all of that stuff. Notably, he does have 100% true dual wield in his passives, as long as you are having him leveled up here. Combo Master, 50% true dual wield at level 100, and then Twin Limit upgrade at level 120 is another 50% true dual wield. It also increases the multiplier to Sonic Blade and Vortex there. which still don't beat Ars Arcanum at all. So you're just going to be spamming Ars Arcanum with this guy. He does get a lot of attack masteries as well. You can go true double hand with him, but he does have the 6 times multiplier cap dual wield mastery at level 6-star level 1. So true dual wield, might as well go with that. Don't really worry about the true double hand variant for him. He does have some double hand in his kit, true double hand here. I do believe it's 150% true double hand. From Lucky Strike is 50%, and then Berserk is 100% there as well. But other than that, just true dual wield him, spam Ars Arcanum, get him with an Imbue, hit him with an Imperil. Not him, you don't want to hit him with Imperil, you want to hit his enemy with an Imperil. And then he's got some magic, Kiraga, nothing insane, nothing important. And then if you want to use his limit burst, it is Ragnarok. It's a 30 times multiplier to one enemy. With a 70% attack, defense, magic, and spirit break, and this also unlocks triple command. So the only real reasons you'd ever use this skill, not really for the damage, you'd use it for the break if you really need to, if something happens in the fight where you want to put that 70% break up, which means you don't even need to level it up. You can leave it at level 1 because there's always a 70% break, which is pretty nice, actually. And then if you need to re-unlock triple command, maybe you use your cooldown skill and Sora dies or something, you could use triple command there for the, or use this limit burst to re-unlock that triple command. Outside of that, it is a 30 times multiplier, but you can triple cast, right? Triple command, triple cast Ars Arcanum over and over and over and over. So if he dies, you'll use the limit burst. If not, just go ahead and maintain spamming that Ars Arcanum. How good is Sora? He's not going to be like the best character in the game or anything like that. He's definitely going to be up there though, especially if you have the ability to hit that 200% true dual wield. Even if you don't have that ability, right, he's going to be at 150% minimum. So he's got some tankiness stats to him. He's going to hit high attack. 3k attack plus is going to be relatively easy to do for the boy here. So he's going to be very, very strong. It's going to depend on if you have the ability to give him the Imperil, which isn't that really that hard nowadays. If you have a couple of the characters who will specialize having a lot of Imperils. We have characters in the game now who, in addition to all the other stuff they do, Imperil for like 5 or 6 different elements at will for 75 to 100%. So it's not that hard of a thing to do anymore. If you have the ability to do that, you're going to be able to make Sora shine. He's going to be fantastic for you. The true dual wield build allows you to put an elemental weapon on him. So if you don't have any imbues, then you don't really have to worry about that. And if you do have imbues, you can take advantage of his true dual wield mastery with the buildings of giving him non-elemental weapons, maybe a one-handed weapon with a killer for what you're fighting against, get a lot of extra damage that way. Imbue him, just spam that Ars Arcanum for a 21 times multiplier. That's a very, very high multiplier nowadays to be spamming with that 6 times dual mastery cap. So it's going to be very, very powerful for you. Now, the next one we talk about is Cloud from Kingdom Hearts. And out of all the Kingdom Hearts units, Sora, Cloud, Riku, and Sephiroth, Cloud is probably the hardest unit to use, right? He's probably the most demanding unit to use, but he also can do a lot of damage, a lot of burst damage. I like to think of Cloud Kingdom Hearts as like an inverted Regina, where Regina can chain her limit burst, but you need someone to build a chain for her skills, whereas Cloud chains his skills very nicely and do a lot of good damage, but he also wants someone to build a chain for him so he can chain finish his limit burst. So he's like an inverted Regina, as you can see. You know, one wants one thing chained, the other wants literally the opposite thing chained for them so they can chain finish. His TMR Cloud's Cloak didn't get changed. It is just a true double hand piece of gear, 40 attack, a little bit of defense, a little bit of spirit, 10 each, and then 50% true double hand. It's, in my opinion, it's worth it. If you don't have Martial Glove or anything like that, it is going to be good for that reason. If you have access to Martial Glove, Rush Glove, and you want those limit burst generation properties, the 50% high tide from Rush Glove with a 2 limit burst per turn from Martial Glove, then that's going to be better for you than Cloud's Cloak is, unless, of course, you need to proc Cloud's Trust ability here. His Super TMR, the Buster Sword, did get changed. It is now 190 attack, so it's going to give you a little bit of bonus extra attack, and it's also going to give you just a tiny bit extra damage on these newer bosses due to the fact that the weapon attack on your weapon changes how much damage you're doing with the new way that they're doing the damage formula. And usually the way that that damage formula is compared, it's compared to how close to 180 attack you can hit. The closer you get to 180 attack, the more you're doing 100% of your damage. Now that you have a Buster Sword or weapon with over that 180 attack, you actually get a pretty small, like 1-2%, somewhere around there, maybe not even that much, bonus damage than if you're wearing a 180 attack weapon when fighting these newer bosses. So that also helps you there with the Buster Sword. Very, very powerful. I have mine from the first time Cloud came through, and we've been having fun with him lately on Twitch. We almost one-shot. We went in, guys. How much damage he could do. We went in, guys, with a friend unit who didn't have the proper Esperon, and we almost one-shot not Neo X Death, one shot the one before it. The one before, Chaotic Darkness. Almost one shot Chaotic Darkness, dude. It was crazy. Okay, so his equipment selection, gray swords, flails, maces, whatever you want to call them in normal swords, armor selection, hats, helms, clothing, light armor, heavy armor. Going into his buff, the skills that you really need to care about, all of this other stuff, Clim Hazard, Assault Charge, Meteor Rain, don't really care about it. Maybe Meteor Rain in the arena. Split Burst got globally buffed. No one really cares. They upped the dot on it. Not that big of a deal. I don't care. MP Refresh 30 per turn. I don't care. Sonic Blade. I don't care. So we're going to start with W Limit. He does have double cast just like before. Cross Slash Omen, 4 turn cooldown, available in turn 1. 250% attack buff for 3 turns to the caster. 250, huge, huge, huge. Cures attack break, enables Cross Slash Plus, and then global exclusive, brand new here, enables triple limit for 4 turns. So he now has triple cast. He didn't have this in JP. His skills had slightly higher modifiers, a little bit higher modifiers in some ways, shapes and forms. Some of them were more than slightly higher, but he didn't have a way to triple cast in JP. Now his next skill here, Assault Break, is a 13.5 multiplier with ignore 50% defense. So it's going to be a 27, excuse me, multiplier here. I think you can chain finish this. It looked like we were chain finishing this when we were playing around with him. Pretty powerful that you can build it up with. His next skill, Continuum Cut, which is a 2-part skills, Divine Ruination Chaining Frames. The first 6 hits are a 1.0 multiplier. That last hit is a 12.0 multiplier. That sounds super weak. It does get a passive buff to it. So let's go into his passives here. And his passives actually help him out real nicely. So Unyielding Resolve is pretty awesome. Attack plus 20%, chance to ignore fatal damage 100% when your HP is above 1%. This is max 1 time. I do believe Sora also does have this skill. 100% proc right now, super abusable with re-raise. We had this happen a couple of times, especially if you're just trying to do big damage, big burst damage with Cloud Kingdom Hearts. If you have the external imbue and the external imperil and stuff like that, you can just like put re-raise on him, get hit a couple times, die re-raise, not die, boom, go for it, one shot something and crazy. A Blackwing Swordsman, increase HP and MP by 50%, attack, defense, magic, and spirit by 30%, so making him a lot more tankier there. Hero in training, attack plus 30% will equip with the Great Sword, 100% true double hand, increases limit burst gauge by 5 per turn. So he's gonna be building up that limit burst without really even trying that much, especially if something like Martial Glove, where we talked about that, or a Rush Glove, where you get that high tide from the TMR slot there while you're getting that true double hand. Hazard Evasion, autocast Hazard Evasion at the start of the battle, 7% MP return per turn. Resistance to Sleep, Blind, Confusion, and Disease by 100%. Chance to counter physical and magical attacks with Show Me Your Strength. 50% proc right there. Hades Mercenary, if you have his TMR or Super TMR equipped, this got globally buffed. Not globally buffed, but it got brought up to where it was before. It did get changed, nerfed before, whatever you want to call it. Now it's back up to where it was. It's 40% attack and 40% limit burst damage, which is definitely worth proccing this trust ability for. That limit burst damage alone, especially if you're using him for that big bursty limit burst, is where you want to be here. Battle Expert, 30% more attack and 50% more true double hand attack. 20% attack passive, and then those drawn to one's darkness, 20% defense, spirit, and HP, and then increase the multiplier on Assault Break and Continuum Cut. Continuum Cut gets a 3.0 multiplier, and yes, this works just like Ars Arcanum did, so it's going to apply to both parts. So it's going to go from 1 in 12 to 4 in 15. So it's going to be a 19 times multiplier, not the highest in the world, but you'll be able to triple cast this 19 times multiplier over and over and over. And just like I said, he's an inverted Regina. You'll be able to cast this, triple Divine Ruination Chain, maybe get that Assault Break in there for that nice chain finish there. And then we're going to go down here to his conditionals. Hazard Evasion, 120% attack buff. Not that big of a deal. You're going to have 250, 200%, 150% from, some other support or your own self buffs. And then Show Me Your Strength increases the multipliers to Assault Charge, Sonic Blade, and Split Burst for 3 turns to the caster. So let's see, you have Sonic Blade, Assault Break. So Assault Break, Sonic Blade. Nope, Sonic Blade. Sonic Blade is this 2-part skill here. And I don't think even with this buff, Sonic Blade will be better than his other skill. So no, Sonic Blade will never be better. Just spam. I don't think it'd ever be better than Continuum Cut at all. It'd have to get quite a hefty buff. It'd have to be brought up to like a 7 times multiplier on the second half part or something like that. You'd have to buff it by like 5.0 total. If you buffed it by 5.0 total, it'd easily be better. If you buffed it by 3.0, it'd be 7.0. And then, no, I don't think that would be better. I don't even think it'd be like a, no. So yeah, I don't think it ever will get better unless I'm missing some other buff here, but I don't think that I am. Triple limit though, right here, and then I've seen this a lot. Cross Slash Plus is obviously his best skill, 20 times multiplier. This skill doesn't chain, so if you find a way to chain finish this skill, it's also a moving skill, and it has a really long animation time to get this in there, chain finish all your cross slashes. Then you can gain some damage, but it's honestly, I don't even know if that's feasibly possible. And you guys know me, I like to push the limits of what you can fit into a chain. And I don't think that one's feasibly possible. Just stick with Continuum Cut there. And speaking of chain finishing, we have Omni Slash. This got changed 25 times multiplier, ignore 50% defense. This is a 50 times multiplier limit burst. Very, 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 very powerful, this limit burst is. Even someone like Regina does have a limit burst damage buff from using Regina Cannon, but even her limit burst is only like a 32 times multiplier. This one's a 50 times multiplier. Cloud has less limit burst damage. He doesn't have that buff, but you can put some gear on it, and it makes all the limit burst damage gear that you put on him that much better because the base number that you're increasing by a percentage is that much larger. It's 50 times instead of 32, so you can get those numbers up there. Even though he doesn't have a limit burst damage buff, you can get them up there. Very, very powerful, insane amount of damage. So how strong is he? We were able to do stuff. We've been calculating them out and stuff like that. If you like using units like Regina, then Cloud is just like that, except for instead of chain finishing Regina Cannon with somebody else, you're going to want to chain finish his limit burst with somebody else. And then in the meantime, you can go ahead and just Continuum Cut. Having High Tide gear on him helps you out with Rush Glove, other things like that. Having a High Tide buff from someone like CG Summer Linfina, that's going to help you out there as well. For building him, there's a couple ways you can build him. If you have a two-handed elemental sword, you can put that on him. That way you only need it in peril. So, you know, you have Excalibur FFBE, the 165 attack two-handed elemental greatsword. That works well on him. Bahamut's Tear works well on him, obviously. Like lightning damage, limit burst damage on him. He's going to love that thing. Or you can put Buster Sword, the Kingdom Hearts version, to proc his trust ability there. Or you can put the Buster Sword from, or his ultimate weapon. I think normal Cloud's Super Team Art's ultimate weapon. So you want a two-handed, strong, powerful greatsword on him. And which one you want to use is going to be based on what sort of team you want to put him in. He's going to have the same sort of constraints as Regina. You want an outside in peril, you want an outside in view for him, and just he's going to go nuts, he's going to go wild. Limit burst damage on him. And if you are out there trying to make the biggest one ever, listen, AI Katy Perry Super Team Art is perfect for someone like Kingdom Hearts Cloud. We were messing around with him, and that is how you do the big whopping damage. You can nearly cap his attack percent with true double hand being capped and have, what, 3 open materia slots for killers and limit burst damage. Absolutely, absolutely amazing. He encroaches, I guess that's a word that we can use, gets super close to 4,000 attack, and we messed around, and with the Zargabath Berserk buff, you can break 4K attack and do a bunch of damage. And if you have Rivera in your party, and you go ahead and give him Rivera's 50% limit burst damage buff because he doesn't have his own, he can go up to, against a 100 defense target with a 100% in peril, and using, I think I counted it as a beast with just Beast Killer and a Freed on there, so 1 Beast Killer materia, nothing else. 444 million damage done before chain finishing. So that'd be 1.6, a little over 1.6 billion damage against a 100 defense target with 1 Kingdom Hearts Cloud. So if you have 2 of them out there, double chain finish, that's 3.2 billion damage. So Kingdom Hearts Cloud, the sky's the limit. He's got a lot of cool things to play around with. I like units like that. Am I going to advocate for you to go out and pull for him right now? I'm not going to do that. He is very powerful. He can be very powerful, but you have to make him really strong. Like I said, he's probably the hardest unit to fit into a party and use to their 100% effectiveness. And out of all of these units that we've gotten lately, between AI, Katy Perry, Kingdom Hearts Cloud, Sora, Riku, and Sephiroth, he's the most narrow. He just wants to do damage, no utility, and he needs you to make him work. So if you like solving problems, you like solving puzzles, he's going to be the guy for you. You can get the big payoff. It's going to be fun to look at, and it's super fun when you watch that Omni Slash come down. You live that final moment, dude, like Sephiroth, and you just, bah, and you see just a huge chunk or all of their HP just absolutely disappear. It's super fun there. Plus, I'm really partial to this design. I don't know why I like Kingdom Hearts Cloud's design so much. I'll probably be using him for quite a while just because he's so cool looking. I don't know. Maybe it's like the 12-year-old in me. I have no idea, guys. You let me know down in the comment section below what you think about Kingdom Hearts Sora and Cloud. If you don't have them and you're asking me, should I pull for them? because I want strong units? I would say no. If you're not a fan of Kingdom Hearts, no. If you are a fan of Kingdom Hearts, though, and you're looking for, are they strong enough for me to use in top-end, cutting-edge content and use them for a while and be happy with that? Yeah. If you're a fan of Kingdom Hearts, you can make these units totally work for you and do a bunch of damage with them. Very easy. Sora, way easier to build than Cloud. If you have the stuff for Cloud, then go for it. Sora, right there as well. So if you want to see the stuff for Riku and Sephiroth, who are a little bit more interesting, especially Kingdom Hearts Sephiroth, he's got some cool aspects to him. You haven't seen that review yet, go ahead and check it out. I'll have that in the comment section as the pinned comment for you, the link to that video. If you missed the stream, I'm sorry, but make sure you can come and hang out tomorrow, 6 p.m. on Saturday, to come and hang out with us. So thank you guys for your support. Thank you for spending a little bit of time here tonight, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care, guys.